So welcome along to what's been quite a popular way of communicating the course changes and development throughout this lockdown period and the start of the summer. We're just going to take a quick fly through from holes 1 to 18 and I'll bring up any points of interest. So a lot of you may have noticed that the flagpole's been down for quite a considerable amount of time. Getting a hold of a crane driver to raise the flagpole has been an issue, so that's planned for the Friday of this week. The flagpole itself was rotten right down the base, and there have been flags in order as well. So there's really been no massive rush to get it up because we had to wait on the crane driver, so it should be up at the end of this week. So you can see the fairways are decent colour just now, the nice kind of transition between brown and green. We've had record low levels of rainfall as well, which has really tested our irrigation system and our abstraction licence, which we're managing to keep on top of no problem. We are trialling 3 different types of wetting agent on our flows and walkways, with the course split into 3 sections, holes 1 to 6, 7 to 12 and 13 to 18. And all 3 brands have worked really well so far. The fairways are cut weekly at 11mm with the clippings boxed, and as a result we have to supplement the nutrition by feeding them monthly along with the wetting agent program. So they receive 1.5 kilograms of nitrogen every month as a root drench feed. So we're basically feeding the deeper rooting grasses, the fescues and the bents, as opposed to the likes of your poas and rye's. You will notice just now that the fairy rings are quite prominent on the greens. That's because we have been treating them. We've been spiking them with a hand fork and then using an intensive wetting agent along with some seaweed with a watering can, and then watering afterwards to try and get some more moisture into these areas and try and reduce the surface tension. These areas have become hydrophobic and we're really trying to stop them from getting any worse. We've been working hard to keep our sand scrapes nice and clean. As you can see, the third is looking fantastic now. We intend to keep it that way with the new Sand Pro that we have. One of the things I'd like to point out here is the front right of this tee. There's a pinch point just on the walk-off. So just as you see now in the centre of your screen to the left of the rope. This winter I'd like to cut that straight through so the flow encapsulates the whole front right of that tee, so people can walk straight across there as opposed to round that sharp corner where it's obviously getting too warm. So that will make a big difference. As you can see, the path we're flying over just now is a little bit brown and burnt. That's because it doesn't have any irrigation in it. It's something we'll be looking into in the future, bringing that up here. Some of the south-facing slopes in the semi-rough on the new holes 3 and 16 have been struggling a little bit, so we have been spiking some zeolite into these. So zeolite is like a soil amendment that looks like a fertiliser, and we will spike these areas and then brush the zeolite down these holes, and it holds onto moisture, so we can try and get some better grass coverage on these areas. You can see the lush green area here just now is just water table essentially. We've been working hard to repair a lot of rabbit scrapes up here and covering them over with mesh so the rabbits don't dig them out again. So just these little things that can be very unsightly. You'll notice the sand on the greens, so we top dressed the greens on Sunday and Monday. So this video was taken on Tuesday. We top dressed the greens on Sunday and Monday with 11 tonnes following a saddle roller to try and make very small holes to get the sand in so we could get rid of it better. And it's proven to be very successful after a good soak in some wetting agent. We'll see later on in the video, this was taken over 2 days, so the back 9 we'll get to see some of this happening. So as we're talking about spiking the zeolite in, we're also doing it on some of the path areas and as well as 3 and 16. So we can see Ben and Francisco just now watering in the application after it's been spiked in. Some of the south-facing slope on this 5th path is, as you can see in the middle of the screen now, just above the sign, has really struggled. It gets burnt off during the day and the moisture also runs off it as well, so we've got a little bit of work to do there. We're very happy with the semi-roughs just now as well. We have turned many of the fairway heads that were more designed at the start to water on a 180-degree basis with a tail nozzle. So basically the head would water all of the fairway, and there'd be a nozzle coming from the back of the head that would water the semi-rough. However, we felt that there wasn't enough volume of water getting onto these semi-roughs and they were burning out. So we've adjusted these all, which takes seconds, to 360. So they are watering the long rough, but we feel that's a small price to pay. We don't believe that we can overwater long rough here and make it thick, because there's so much sand, the water just infiltrates it so fast that we can't get lush growth from that. So we feel we've made huge progress this year with definition on our semi-roughs, and that's partly due to that. So this video was filmed over 2 days, yesterday being the nicer day, which you're about to see in a second when we fly up 6. So we've been removing a lot of large weeds from the rough that are popping up by hand. Ragwort, cow parsley, and that's going to make a difference to the fine detail of the course and the tidiness. Even though these weeds are part of a dune land, they're just very unsightly, and especially down the far end of the course, having ragwort down there's a chance it could spread into the farmer's field, so we're just doing our bit there as well. There's small areas like on the left hand side of the screen now that look lush. We have taken the flail mower over them, cut and collected them just to tidy them up a little bit. Just felt it was a little bit unfair for people who were going for the green and landing on the downslope and losing a ball in there. So we're really trying to turn this course into somewhere that's a championship golf course that's very, very difficult, but we want to make it fair at the same time, and really believe you should be able to play 18 holes without losing a ball, just for enjoyment levels, really. On saying that, we still do want to punish a bad shot, so we feel our rough's probably about bang on just now with that. Bunkers are being raked around 3 times a week just now, full rake, and we have seen a huge difference in efficiency and productivity with not having to rake bunkers as much. And we've actually found that golfers have done a very good job in raking out with their feet and or their clubs, and the preferred lie rule has worked fantastically. It's something we'd love to see stay, and I think it'd be fantastic for greenkeeping if that did happen. By removing the banks from the seawall tees this winter, we think they look fantastic now. I mean, there's the part of the beach, and it's really brought a new element of nature to this tee shop. I feel this left-hand side bunker on 9 is looking better with age. However, the right-hand side one, I think, would possibly need a little bit of work this winter, maybe to change the shape of it. The left-hand side one, in my opinion, could move a little bit out further left to stop people cutting through there, and it would make it, I think, a better risk and reward bunker for people hitting their tee shots over. It's also super seeing the halfway hut open again, and the golfers sitting outside enjoying a drink and some food. I think it was one of the most missed elements of Royal Cinque Ports, according to many of the members, including myself. Something we always try and discourage is buggies driving on fairways during scorchy weather, because we end up getting brown marks. So this year's not been too bad, but if we'd like to encourage members and visitors using buggies with a medical certificate to please try and keep off the fairways, especially when it's scorchy, and driving the semi-rough, it would make a huge difference to the recovery of these brown marks. And in the middle of the screen now, you'll see the sleepered walkways that Ben and Tristan made, which are everyone's delighted with. I think they've really enhanced the feel of the golf course and going along with our sleepered theme. And again, these walkways really standing out beautifully against the rough that's starting to go into bloom now. You know, we're looking into August, the rough will start to turn golden, and these areas will look completely different yet again. We have changed our divoting routine to every Tuesday night now at 6 o'clock. The artisans go out with a member of the green staff and split the golf course, 6 artisans up either side, the seaside and the roadside. And we found this to be a much better way of doing it as opposed to having the sand piles on the course. The artisans put in a great shift after lockdown. We had a good couple of 3-hour sessions, and then after then it's just been kind of topping up, especially when it's dry. There's not quite as many divots. So very happy with the way that's going, and I'd like to thank the artisan section for that. So I'm not sure if many of you know, but our turf nursery is fully irrigated. It's at the top right hand side of the screen now, which sits behind the 12 tees, and that was stripped out a year ago, and this time last year it was just seeded out and it's ready to lift now. So we will be using that this year for revetting turf. Because it's irrigated, the quality of turf is far better, and we've actually used it already to turf out some paths with that very immature turf, and it's actually worked out quite well. We are keeping really good moisture control on the greens. They get tapped with a pogo moisture meter most mornings, especially during dry spells, and mapped out. The technology is fantastic. We can send one member of staff out with the pogo, which is basically like a prodding stick that they put in the ground, and the information of moisture will be detailed onto a map which you can look at on your phone, and it'll show you all the hot spots in brown and red and all areas that are fine and green, and anywhere that you don't want to water in blue. So you can really target water with a hose and get it bang on, and it saves wasting any water. So we started top dressing the greens on Sunday night. This film was taken on Monday, but we wanted just to get ahead of golf in the morning, because sometimes top dressing is quite a lengthy job, and we really don't want to get in the way of any golf. So we can see up here we're getting caught by golf, but Caroline's very fast off the first tee, so we're just staying ahead of her no more. But we did 6 greens last night, and we finished them in the morning. So that would consist of putting sand on the green, then a sarrel roll spike over the green, which is like a barrel roller with spikes in it, which helps integrate the top dressing at the top inch probably. And then it will be dragged into these holes with a sweep and fill brush. And then after that, we will spray it with wetting agent, some nitrogen and some seaweed. And then we'll get a good 10 minute soak. So really push that wetting agent and fertiliser in deep. And that's what you can see happening right now as we fly up the 13th. The hole looks a million times better now without these trees, and in its place we've got gorse growing there. So this area is GUR just on the right side just now. I guess all the members are probably getting used to having no trees there. We've had a lot of very good feedback from that, which has been fantastic. One of the most improved areas now, to the left hand side of 13, is the runoff and flow up to 14. And you can see all the bunkers being raked in the fashion we do them these days, with the edges all smooth raked and the middles tooth raked, so the ball rolls to the middle. So as we look into the top right hand side of the screen now, we'll see the reservoir. We have got a full reservoir. We've still got 3,000 cubic meters left to abstract, and then we have a full reservoir to use up, which holds around 10,000 cubic meters usable. So we've got enough to get us through July and August and September. We obviously still have to be very careful. Hand watering obviously helps, and yeah, so we should be sitting pretty, really, I think, for the amount of water that we've got left. We can start abstracting again on October the 1st. So we've done okay this year with that, and that's thanks to a super efficient irrigation system and recording how much we're taking out all the time so we can monitor it, and obviously hand water and moisture management. It's probably one of the hardest aspects of the job, and if we get that right, then we'll do okay. As you can see the road going up the left hand side of the course now, we borrowed a box grader from Sean McLean at Prince's, and we've taken it over these areas to smooth them out. Some of our machines were getting a little bit damaged with going up and down these bumpy tracks, so we really wanted to smooth them out. We now have John Hockley up on the 15th green. So John started with us 3 or 4 months ago. We got John from Wentworth. So it's his first taste of links golf, and he's really taken to a duck to water, like a duck to water. So he's been fantastic. As you can see again, the fairy rings are prominent, but only really because we've treated them, so they stand out a little bit more. So now ready to go up 16. One of the things I'd like to do this year is to put a path up the left-hand side where the sand path is, but make it a grass path. I think it'll look a lot better from the back tee. We may have to black mat it though, because it's an artery that the green staff use all the time. These bunkers have been getting raked by using our Sand Pro machine, which has saved a lot of time, and we can go in there after high winds with the front blade and move sand around, so that's been fantastic. We're doing a lot of work this week on these semi-roughs on the new fairway up the left-hand side, which are just flying over just now, with the soil amendment, just to get some more moisture into them because they're struggling a little bit, but we know that's an issue and we're working on it. The green you can see here has had the sand on it, the sand's dried out, and then we've put the sorrel roll and brush over it, so these holes are left open now and they're just ready to be dragged in with John, who's coming along after 15. Using the drone is a fantastic piece of technology, more for the fact that it really does highlight anything that's not quite right on the course, as you can see below us there with some lush green areas that we need to get to the bottom of. But it certainly makes things look a lot worse than they actually are, which is a good thing because it means we can deal with them faster than we maybe would should we have only seen it from our eye level on the ground. So just flying over this area that's been cut down for the 1920s Black Meadow, which is the old sandy parlour green we're just flying over just now. It's going to be quite rough, I'll be honest, for the competition, but I'm pretty sure, but back in them days, nothing was at the standard where it's at just now, so we'll put a bigger hole cup in its place just to kind of compensate for that. So we're just going to fly up now to 17 green, where we have Francisco. So we got Francisco just after lockdown. He came all the way from Madrid. He was studying greenkeeping up at Elmwood College in Fife, where I went to as a youth, and he's been fantastic. We've really enjoyed having him, and some of the guys are having a crack at learning Spanish so we can try and communicate with Fran better, but you can see he's using this sorrel roller here with the brush in the back, and hopefully I can fly the drone a little bit closer here, and we can see there's just putting the little spikes in the ground and then the brush afterwards. The reason why we do it this order is because we would rather we don't want to put any weight on it after the holes are in the ground, just in case we get a lot of depressions. It's actually easy to put the weight with the top dresser on first before the holes. So flying down 18 now, hopefully going to put a huge sand scrape in here just in front of this sand area to make it look like a lot less like a bunker. Hopefully do that this winter or next winter. We've taken out a little bit of rough on the right hand side. You can see here it was just a little bit unfair for some of the golfers bouncing off this slope. And the definite line there we can see is just down to, again, water table. So you can see the colour of the fairways could be if we absolutely ploughed water on them. You know, we could get them that green colour, but it would take a hell of a lot to do this. We also know we have a small issue with our top dresser just now with not getting such a perfect even spread. We have got worn paddles which we are going to fix soon. So we can see that by that last picture of 18. Again, flying over the putting green. This was the first green to get treated with the intensive wetter, and it's also our worst for fairy ring. But when you're down on the ground putting, it doesn't look anywhere near as bad as that. And our short game area is looking nice just now as well. The greens are running now at the exact same speed as the greens on the golf course. So I hope you all enjoyed that, and of course I'm free to take questions on my email address if anyone would like to get in touch.